It is the morning of November 7th, 1944, 12 P-38. Lightning fighters streak across the sky above Yugoslavia, led by Colonel Clarence Theodore Edwinson. Far below, a thin plume of white steam catches his eye. A German locomotive, not the primary objective, but an irresistible temptation. "Boys, let's hit that train." Edwinson rolls inverted and pushes the nose down. The rest of the squadron tucks in behind him. Engines howl as they plunge toward the rails. Guns chatter in unison. The boiler is stitched with 50 caliber holes. Steam erupts from a dozen wounds as the lightnings zoom skyward again. German flak answers instantly. Black bursts blossom among the formation, shrapnel clawing at aluminum skin. "Get down on the deck," Edwinson orders. The P-38s roll and dive for the treetops, but one lightning takes a direct hit. Fuel tanks ignite. The aircraft becomes a torch. A frightened voice crackles over the radio. "I'm hit. Going in." Edwinson snaps his head around in time to see an orange fireball bloom against a wooded hillside. "Anybody see a parachute?" Only silence answers. "Negative, Colonel." A cold rage settles in Edwinson's chest. Acknowledged. The squadron thunders westward, over the jagged Serbian ridges. Then the terrain falls away, exposing a wide valley and an airfield that matches the morning's briefing photos perfectly. A long column of trucks and tanks crawls northward along the road to Belgrade. Edwinson has no doubt. Payback time. "There's the bastards. Blue flight, take the column. Red and yellow, the airfield." Down on the road, Red Army troops are celebrating the 27th anniversary of the October Revolution. Accordions play, red flags snap in the breeze. Soldiers sing. They spot the twin boom fighters and wave cheerfully at what they assume are American allies. The cheering stops when the P-38s peel off and dive straight at them. A few quicker-thinking Soviets grasp the horror, snatch flags, and wave them frantically overhead. Too late. Machine guns and cannons open up. Men and trucks are torn apart. Bombs walk the length of the column in rolling thunder. At the airfield, distant explosions jerk every head skyward. "Air raid! To the guns!" Soviet flak crews sprint to their positions as the lightnings bore in. Tracers reach up. 20 millimeter and 50 caliber rounds rake parked aircraft and revetments. Edwinson's pilots press the attack through the storm of fire. One P-38, flown by Second Lieutenant Eldon Coulson, never pulls out of his dive. Riddled by ground fire, trailing smoke in pieces, it slams into a field a kilometer short of the runway and erupts. Edwinson's fury deepens. Climb and come around again. On the ground, Soviet gunners curse the Focke-Wulf 189s that refuse to behave like slow reconnaissance birds. In the hangars, pilots dash through smoke to the remaining Yak-9s. Lieutenant Krivonogik and Junior Lieutenant Shipulya are first off the ground, rocketing down the runway as the next wave of P-38s dives overhead. Edwinson spots the takeoffs. Knock those fighters down before they climb. The lightnings pounce. One Yak explodes on the runway threshold. Others stagger into the air, trailing glycol and fuel. Most scatter, but one Soviet pilot rolls inverted, hauls his Yak into a hard climb, and fires a deflection shot that saws through a passing P-38. Second Lieutenant Philip Brewer never has a chance. His aircraft tumbles away in flames and craters, northeast of the field. Edwinson forms the squadron into a defensive Luftbury. Far below, Krivonogik and Shipulya skim the forest at treetop height, then yank upward into a near vertical climb to engage. For the first time in history, American and Soviet fighters are trying to kill each other. Shipulya gets in the first meaningful burst, stitching a P-38's boom, but the lightning keeps flying. Two more lightnings drop on him like hawks. Krivonogik shouts a warning. Shipulya brakes hard and lives another 10 seconds. Krivonogik closes on the second lightning, fires, and watches it burst into flame. The American pilot bails out. His burning P-38 spirals down 8 kilometers north. The sky fills with more yaks. The tide seems to turn. Krivonogik climbs after another P-38. The lightning is sluggish at low level. He closes fast. At that exact moment, a Soviet 37mm battery on the ground, unable to tell friend from foe in the chaos, looses a burst that obliterates Krivonogik's yak in midair. Shipulya, now alone, dives on a P-38 that deliberately stalls above him and fires downward. There is no escape. His Yak-9 plunges into a meadow 500 meters north of the runway. Another yak falls moments later. From a neighboring airfield, Captain Alexander Koldunov races to the fight with a flight of sleek Yak-3s. He has been told he is intercepting FW-189S. The silhouette he sees is anything but. Koldunov waggles his wings frantically beside the American formation. A P-38 drops behind him and opens fire. He jinks, curses, and tries again, flying wingtip to wingtip with Colonel Edwinson himself. Edwinson stares across the narrow gap, sees the red stars, feels the blood drain from his face. Cease fire! Cease fire, damn it! They're Russians! All aircraft break off and return to base immediately. The lightnings turn west. Angry yaks pursue until Koldunov's furious order crackles across the airwaves. Let them go. They are allies. One by one, the red-starred fighters peel off. The shooting stops as suddenly as it began. In Moscow, some generals briefly speak of deliberate provocation. Cooler heads and an American letter of explanation prevent disaster. The incident is quietly buried. Soviet accounts surface decades later, heavily seasoned with propaganda. Most American records remain sealed, some say for a full century. And 55 years later, almost on the same patch of Yugoslav earth, another stealth aircraft will fall from the sky in flames, proving that even the most advanced technology can still be brought down in the same ancient mountains.